Utilities. First off, read this disclaimer carefully and do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. So we go here to the sectors. Here is utilities. You see the average performance, it is lower than the S&P 500, but that is not, a huge surprise. So here we have the king of utilities ETFs, the XLU. So 17% here from the low, and we have been through a minus 5% pullback. So let's jump into the charts. So this is now the big picture weekly data points, and we have seen a strong uptrend. We have seen here that this purple 20-week moving average, it has a tendency to attract buyers. Here, the buyers step in, so it's been historically a good time to consider buying. And here again, we are testing that key moving average. When we go here to the daily data points, in this instance, we do have this blue 100-day moving average, pretty clear here. We have used it as support before as well, bouncing a bit here and there. It can also be a resistance, like it was back there. Here it is support. So this is basically a moving average with a lot of history, which increases the probability that it will work going forward. So here we have the indicators to the right. And the PPOs here, those are PPOs for these moving averages. So this is the PPO for the purple 20-week moving average in this case, and so on and so forth. And that's a nice way to standardize the relationship between price and these moving averages, which makes it so much easier to analyze. Okay, let's jump into the daily data points. Because in this instance, when we zoom a bit back here on the RSI, we do see something interesting, okay? So you see that the current RSI here is the same, almost the same RSI that we had here, when we formed the low. And you can see here with these blue dotted lines that we are in the same time on both the left here and the right. If we go over here, a low RSI formed the low. So this RSI is certainly lower than what we have here. But if we go back here, during this pullback, we are at the same RSI we have now. It formed a low. Here again also. So basically, this current RSI on the daily data points, it has a good history of offering support. That is the history. If we were to lose the blue 100-day moving average, then the 200-day would then be in play. Going here back to the weekly data points, I think it is pretty clear that one of the best, moving averages to buy is certainly this blue 100-week moving average. It has a long history of being a pretty good time to enter some bullish positions, but that moving average is currently not in play. In this instance, it is the blue 100-day moving average. So yeah. Let's go here to the seasonality. Over the last 5 years, there's been strengthening from September to November. The last 10 years, October is the strongest of all months. And October is around the corner. Then you have the last 20 years, and then October is one of the strongest months, and November and December are also decent for the utilities ETF. So if I were a bear and I wanted, to find some sector to short, the utilities ETF, the XLU, it's not ideal. When you look here at the last 10 years, it closes higher 89% of the time in October, and we are towards the later part of September now. And this is not attractive from a bearish perspective, so the seasonality definitively support a bullish thesis. Here at Finviz, we have a diagonal trend line, boom, boom, support. As you can see clearly, boom, boom, and we are resting at that support level here. So the bullish thesis is getting stronger when we compare the S&P 500 with the XLU. And let's look at the beta, which measures, the volatility. So the volatility of the utilities ETF is minus 64% below that of the S&P 500. The dividend, 1.25% for the S&P, but approaching 3% here for the utilities ETF. And the yield is also a buffer against price decline. So a minus 3-ish% pullback, that would be around here, down to the 200-day moving average. And you could, argue that that would be sort of financed through the dividend yield. I do like to have stops in place pretty close to my key support levels nonetheless. But that is more relating to your style of investing. So yeah, to sum up, I think that when we look at the charts, especially the RSI was very interesting, but we also have moving average support. So the technicals, they speak a bullish message, though looking at the bigger picture, obviously the blue 100-week moving average has been a much better time to buy, but it's not currently in play. But the moving averages that are in play are definitively interesting. The seasonality is also benefiting the bulls. We have this trend line, and we also have, a nice dividend yield, low beta. Yeah, I think it's easy to make a bullish case in this case.